wanted to put it in U.S. ground, he finds out there is a way, and that is through a silk screen. This is the workshop where we make this part of the process. That little wooden machine that you see in the back has a mesh. We use vinyl, which is a paint, and on top of it, we're going to put a chemical known as satinador, which works kind of like a little bit of an acid. Wait until the satinador dries out, and then in the back area, we're going to rinse just using water, wash everything away in this finished product. We have a little inside joke to this. We call it little cookies with la abuela.
Is it on every bottle? Or
Every bottle.
Okay.
After that's
That actually looks different than the one I have.
Yeah, since they're handmade, it can be different, slightly different.
Mine is different.
I love it.
I had to soak the label, and then the label came off, and like there it is. And it was a little defective too. Mine has a defect in it.
Pedro or Mike? Pedro or Mike? Now, Mexico was the only country where we actually win the case. And Mexico is the only country where we sell Los Abuelos as the brand. Those who still have the silk screen for efficiency purposes, so you're not like, oh, I'm just saying the one that I was supposed to. Another difference is the bottles that stay here in Mexico are going to be hand-blown bottles. These are made in Tonalá, Jalisco, by el señor Hipólito. And the ones that you get in the U.S. and other countries are going to be machine-made. You can tell by the bottom it has a number, which is the amount of liquid you can fill it with. Texture is a little smoother, and of course it's going to be a little more thick, so it's going to resist the traveling. The hand-blown bottles, let me see if we have.
But they're all filled here. The bottles are filled here.
They are all sealed here, and you put the silk screen, but they come from Tonalá, both of them. This is the hand-blown. Bottom, you have a little circle. The thickness is different, it has a little bit more texture. This is the original design. This is what the brand started with. They did export it in 2006.
That's the bottle.
But that's
bottle.
what
It's heavier. It weighs more.
it can be heavier, it can be lighter.
Yeah, but that one weighs more than that one. I didn't get my water.
But you can, machine made. Just feel the texture, everything. While exporting this one, they noticed it was very delicate, so that's why Mexico stays only with the hand-blown ones, the short distances, and U.S. rest of the world will get the machine-made one.
That's where they break it.
That's where they break it. If you have a sharp eye, you can actually see it right as soon as you see the bottle, like the neck. It's not all even. Rims sometimes are like all uneven. Thickness, you also see differences, and of course, easy way, bottom part. Questions or comments, guys? Okay. So we're going to start heading out. We're going back to the entrance, so we can cross. Alright guys, so welcome to La Villa. This property was purchased by the grandfather, Mr. Guillermo, who's the current owner. His name was Mr. Francisco Javier Sousa. He purchased this place in 1953 because he wanted to make tequila using the Tahona. In that corner, on that side, is where Fortaleza is located at. But he was a person of high efficiency, so when he discovers that making tequila with Tahona wasn't efficient enough, he decides to close this place. 68, he reopens it to make it into a museum, now for people to get to know how tequila used to be made 100 years prior. 1970, he decides he wanted to live here, and that's when the house up in the hill starts getting built. It's called La Casa del Cielo, and it has one of the best views here in town. You can actually see this house from certain points of the town, and the property itself is around 65 acres. We're going to continue walking.
And the tour includes lunch at the.
No, unfortunately, this one doesn't. The property is around 65 acres or 30 hectáreas de tierra. More than 200 different type of trees, normal trees, fruit trees. We have seasonal cropping in these areas here. Of course, we're going to have our own agave fields that we're going to get to see. And the agaves that we have within this property are less than 3% of what we actually use throughout the year. The other 97%, we're going to buy it from outside providers, only from the valley area, which means only the towns or areas around the town of Tequila. We're going to go all the way to the end. On top of everything I just mentioned, we also have a little reservoir that is right at the center, and we have a replica of the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco. Right now the lake is super full because we just had that rain we were talking about earlier. So all the water that washed down from all the way from the volcano will come here, and because of the rain the levels kind of rise. We have the Friendship Island. This lake is alive. You got fishes in here, you got birds that come in here and feed themselves. So you see, oh yeah, there, over there by the kiosk, you see the other ones. So we're going to continue walking this way.
Do they stay around all the time, or are they?
No, apparently they stay because most birds are already like migrating and
Yeah.
they're just chilling here.
Yeah, exactly. yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
It's a nice warm weather. It doesn't get us cold here, and then you got 40 years and
Is this lower than? Is it the valley sort of lower than like Tonalá and Guadalajara and that, or same about elevation?
No, it's a little lower. And it's just still the gentleman. Okay, so this will be the area. Where we come from, I told you. We're going all the way to that side. It's basically the same level, but it's
We'll take a swim and
enjoy, chill here, take a walk through the bridge. You can actually walk the bridge if you want to, if you're a little bored.
okay.
And I just tell my coworker to like bring you up.
Video on.
Huh?
Video on. Half an hour.
40-ish or so.
It'll be fun.
Thank you.
Have fun, kids.
Thanks, Dad.
Voy a dejar a 2 personas, ¿me las incorporas un ratito? Gracias.
Smells like Georgia.
You guys are staying here in Tequila, right?
Yes, Casa Salas.
Ah, that's the side. How was that side in the rain? Like that big storm.
Well, we're staying there tonight.
Okay.
When we had,
Okay.
It's the season's changing. I think it got colder while we've been down there. So it's, I think it's like turning to winter.
Yeah,
And I haven't been there in 3 years. So I'm not used to it anymore.
yeah.
We'll see how it goes.
Bring a jacket for sure.
Alright guys, so before our destination is going to be all the way up there, what you see in one arc. That's where we're going to set to. So before we go there, here you can see the whole extent of this property. You see the brick wall, the first one. That's not the limit. It's going to be the second one that is all the way in the back. All these agaves, well, this is what we're going to use for making tequila. Common name is going to be blue agave or agave azul. Actual name is Tequilana Weber Blue Bayari, and this is the only one we're going to use for the production of tequila. There is two ways in which you can reproduce this plant. One is going to lead to something called rhizomes. When the agave is mature, it's going to give you little roots. They're going to be looking for the sunlight. Once it finds the sunlight, you get the babies. This pop. Once they're ready, we're going to separate them and we're going to plant them right before the rainy season because this is all the water it's going to need. And once they're ready, you're going to wait around 7 to 8 years for this agave to be harvested, or as we say, hima. We're going to do hima. The other method is through something called quiote, which is a stem that grows from the center. It looks like a century plant. And here is going to give you little branches, flowers, and through the process of pollination, the work of bees, hummingbirds, bats, especially in this area, will be the ones taking the pollen into another agave that has quiote, and it's going to give you later on something we call bulbillos, which are the seeds of the agave. If you use the seeds, you will have to wait 12 to 15 years for this agave to be ready, so no one uses the quiote method because it takes too long. However, you still want to see quiotes around because they're going to help you out with the generics. The plant will be resistant to new sicknesses that come, especially now with the climate change. Have you seen the banana market that they're having a whole issue about it because they were basically cloning the same genes over and over? So this is why we want to see quiotes around. Here in Fortaleza, we are allowing around 3% of our agaves to develop the quiote to help out. Also because it's part of an ecosystem, which means the animals depend on it. So you will see them around here, either brand new ones or really old ones, but we let them be. If you let the quiote grow, what's going to happen with the agave is going to die, and the agave will be useless for the production of tequila. If you do see it and you want to use that agave, you need to make sure you cut it up at one point. We call this desquiotar. And you still will have kind of like a time limit before it actually starts dying out. The quiote, what it does is take all the sugars the agave have been collecting throughout the years to send it to the stem. So depends on what you're using the agave, what you will do with the quiote. We have an appellation zone which says that only 5 states can plant agave for making tequila and can make tequila. Those will be the states of Jalisco, Nayarit, Michoacán, Guanajuato, and Tamaulipas. If you try to make tequila or plant agave outside of these 5 states, you will have to call it destilado de agave, agave spirit. You cannot use the word tequila. And this one started in 1974 as the first appellation zone outside of Europe, for example, for brandy or for champagne. So it will be the first one on this side of the Atlantic. Questions, comments? All good? All right, let's head out because we got a long way still. Pictures, I'm here to help you out.
yes.
When you guys, I'm interested back there, but when you let it go to seed, when you let it go to plant, do you guys ever take those seeds and then develop them for clones later? Or does it
Here,
like fast.
I see. Alright guys, so this area is what we call reception area. Here is once you have harvested the agave is where we're going to drop them off. We only have 2 ovens. One is going to be 15 tons, the other one is going to be 28 tons. If you think about other distilleries, sometimes they have 3 ovens of 50 tons or 20 something ovens with 15 tons, 18 tons, 20 something tons. So they can actually process or cook agave every single day. Here with us, we can only cook agave every other day. Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Average weight for our piñas is usually 40 kilos, but they can weigh more than that. They can weigh 60 kilos, 100 kilos. Now, to make a single liter of tequila, you will need from 7 to 10 kilos of agave per liter of tequila. So if your agave weighs 40 kilos, you can get 4 liters out of it. Depends also on the process you're using. If you're using the tajona, which is a very rustic process, you basically need the higher end. If you're using the standard with the mill, you'll use the lower end, which is the 7 kilos. But if you're using a very industrialized process known as diffusers, ever heard of them?
Yeesh.
They're like huge car washers that washes all the sugars away. Their efficiency is pretty much 90 something, 94, 95%. Taking everything with you, you need 4.5 to 5 kilos per liter of tequila.
But I heard they're using acid to cook it instead of using
So
tahona.
this is hot water.
Yes.
That's wild.
Yeah.
But from what I know, it's just hot water, hot and super high pressure, and you're washing everything away. So it depends on the process you're using is how much agave you will need per liter of tequila. Now, because our ovens are tiny, we have to split them in half, and we remove a piece that we call cogollo, which is at the top of the agave. It's a little roll of vincos, really, really tight. This little roll, we're going to remove it because it has bitter flavors that we don't need for our tequila. This is very similar to, for example, wines where you don't use the skins, you don't use the seeds. Same idea with our agave. We place them, we're going to carry them with a little wheelbarrow, I think it's called. Into the back area, you have access to the ovens. And then we're going to cook for 40 hours just using steam. 40 hours pass, then we open the ovens to let them cool off so we can handle the agave, and we're going to pass it through the distillery. This is the only place where all Fortaleza en Los Abuelos is made. We don't have a hidden place where we're making more tequila. We're going to enter to check out our process. Again, if you have questions, just let me know.
Can I take a picture closer there?
We're going to get near in a few. We're going.
Okay.
Our tasting is right at the caves.
Okay.
So this distillery was built in 1909, and the family, remember, purchased this place in 1953. It hasn't changed much since the family purchased. The only thing we added to the outside are the 2 still pots. These are the original still pots here. We changed them because they were too old, they were leaking tequila. We wanted to increase production. Today we are working 3 shifts, morning, midday, overnight, 6 days a week. And this is still not enough for the high demand that this brand has. Another thing that we added, right up here we have the plate that says Tequila Fortaleza, but the phrase at the bottom, donde se hace el tequila como lo hizo mi tatarabuelo. Where tequila is made how my great-great-grandfather used to make it. So we're talking about a recipe from 150 years ago, Don Zenobio, and we're following exactly that same recipe today. We'll get to see him, Don Zenobio, in a picture to see how he looked like. Few indications, guys. Wherever I set the limit, we do not pass from here. Watch out where you're stepping. They're still working, so there might be gabazo, which is the fibers on the floor, pipes, cables. So just watch out for that. Welcome to Fortaleza.
There's the Tahona. And those are popones. The popones. Oh, she said, sir. She said, no, not past this point. Not past this point. Right here. She said not there. Sorry. So, like, you're welcome. Yep.
Doesn't smell that bad.
This is not alcohol. This is just the agave. It's not alcohol. It's just cooked.
After it's been steamed.
Yeah, so this is after it's been cooked, shredded through the hopper.
The agave looks like once it's cooked. So you can see now it's brown instead of white and green. This is only sugar. This is not going to get us drunk just yet. I'm going to give you a little piece. You're going to just chew a little bit and suck the juice out just as a sugar cane. Do not eat the fibers. And just let me know how sweet it is.
Thank you.
Make your genitals fall off.
Like molasses.
What do you think?
Like molasses.
Like molasses? Yeah? Like piloncillo, right? Or like sweet made with pumpkin, right? A Mexican version.
Mm-hmm.
Very similar to it. So once we have our agave and it's cooled off, what we're going to do, you see the machine next to the cage where we grab the agave from? That is called desgarradora. Desgarradora, what it does is to shred the agave, and we're going to shred 3 tons of agave to place them all inside of the pit, nice and even all around. And then we're going to place, you see the metal core is here, we can move it around. We're going to link our Tahona, which is this stone, to this electrical cart that is right in front of us. This is going to work as a little mule. It's going to move the stone around for 2 to 3 hours, crushing the fibers. Now the Tahona weighs 2.5 tons, which means that we cannot move it from the center or to the sides to crush every single fiber. Someone has to jump in, walk behind the Tahona, and incorporate all the fibers into its path. Once we're done crushing, we're going to place the wooden pallets that you see across the pit. We add the water, and we're going to do this part that we call washing. We're going to wash the fibers against the water for 2 hours, just like they're doing right now. And this is how we're going to separate the pulp from the actual string, the actual fiber. We place all the fibers on top so they continue dripping, and they're going to eventually open this part, this area here. There's a compartment that we raise, and we drain all the juice into the recipient tank. And once we have drained all the juice, we're going to close the gate. Bring the fibers that you just washed for 2 hours back into the pit. Add more water and give it a second wash for another 2 hours. So in total, you're washing the fibers for 4 hours. Again, pick it up. Drain all the juice. That will be thrown out to the field for compost to give some nutrients back to the soil. And what continues the process will be the agave juice through the pipes and the pumps. We're going to send it to our permanent
I watch it do with these?
Not yet.
Blanco, we're going to send it through the pipe and a pump into the tank that is behind the parota, the tree, and we're going to add the water so we can bring it down to 40. Goes through the filter and into our bottling room. Because it's going to become steel strength, which is what he's packaging right now, is what we just had resting directly to a filter into a bottle. It's going to become reposado or añejo, then we're going to put it into our barrels that are here in the back. Let's go check them out before we come into the workshops.
Quick question.
Yes.
So when you add the water, are you adding it like some places aspirate the water, like they turn it into a mist and add that with the water the water and the liquor slowly, so that way it marries together. Is that the same process here, or is it just dump water, mix it up?
Let me ask the memo when we come back.
Okay.
See how they mix the water. Yeah, because I'm not sure which of the two ways to use here.
Look at there, the winter blend. Winter blend. Oh God, it smells so good in here.
Welcome.
Oh.
So this is going to be our smaller aging room. This is a little bit more than 100 barrels. I think it's around 120. We use American white oak to age our tequilas, and we purchase these barrels from bourbon whiskey companies, such as Four Roses, Buffalo Trace, Heaven's Heels, Jack Daniels, Jim Beam, whatever is available on the market. From here, certain ones still have the seal from where they come from. For example, this one right here, the second one, it says Buffalo Trace. Right behind it, there's
right there.
Four Roses. And if you go back into inside, you will see Jim Beams and Jack Daniels as well.
But only bourbon there.
Only bourbon. Only bourbon barrels. We can reuse them 6 times, which means 6 tequilas will come out from them. That's around a lifespan of 5 years. Our reposados are 6 months. Our añejos are 18 months. In general, reposados are from 60 days all the way to 364 days. Añejos are from 1 year all the way to 3 years. And extra añejos, 3 years going forward. Here the brand doesn't make extra añejos because Mr. Guillermo thinks that at this point, you lose a lot of the essence of the tequila, the flavor of the agave, and you stay in more with the flavor of the barrel. So it's like, might as well just buy a bottle of whiskey and it's going to taste very similar. So that's why we don't make extra añejos, but we do have reposados and añejos in here. The other aging room that we have is going to be on the other property where we got our wristbands. You saw the construction site. Right underneath is going to be the other aging room with around 700 barrels in there. And that's where they're keeping right now the winter blend 2023. We still have the barrels here for the winter 2022. Winter 2023, or the winter blend in general, is a project that started in 2019. And it's more like you'll be playing around with the barrels just to show you guys how the same Fortaleza Blanco can change its flavor depending on the barrel that you're using. Each year is a unique recipe. So for example, last year, 2022, was Ex Oloroso barrel, which is French oak. Then we used also Ex Tokaye barrel, which is Hungarian oak. And of course, you always have present the bourbon whiskey, which is our classic Fortaleza Reposado. We blend them together, that's one recipe. This year is going to be completely different. I think this year we're using a local spirit. I don't want to give too many spoilers. So we're going to be using different type of the flavors that we're going to have, but always blended with the Fortaleza Reposado Classic. Okay, guys? Just so you know, that one should be released around last week of November. If you're still here, we are going to be the only point where you can get it here in Mexico. If you're still around this area, make sure you come visit us, take the tour, get your bottle, go home the happiest person ever. Okay? Questions or comments?
What? I'm gonna wait for him.
Okay.
USA coming to us.
Yeah, okay. Let's just wait. You wait.
Can't touch.
Step aside,
at a time.
Yep, 6 at a time. At the corner, we're going to put the tops old-fashioned by hand with a little hammer. Hit it, seal it. And right here at the beginning, we have the light box to see how they treat the bottles against the light. We're going to check for quality and clarity, that it doesn't have any particles in the inside. Maybe the first half of the process, you have one of the bottles might have cracked. So this is the point where you have to notice this things. If it doesn't pass quality check, we're going to empty the tequila into buckets that are underneath and send it to the tank right behind the bottle so it gets refiltered. If it does pass quality check, now we're going to manually label each one of the bottles that we're doing right now. We put the little cellophane, which is plastic, and we use a gun to shrink the plastic, put it manually into the box, on top of pallet, out for its distribution. So right now we see every single step. If it was more work, then we'll be doing half of it first and then half of the rest later on. Another thing, the batch number, this one right here, is handwritten. They're producing or they're finishing here around 2,300 bottles in a day, which means that you have to handwrite 2,300 labels before you start putting on the bottles. It's a lot of work that you have to do here. Plus, you get a little tip from the apple right here. Questions, comments, guys?
Do you still use Los Abuelos labels or no?
Yes, Mexico.
Okay.
Alright guys, we take that last breathe in. And we start heading out. Is that everyone? Let me see. They're coming up? Good. So now you drop downstairs, I'm getting you high here again.
Yeah.
That's why we're so chill. Welcome guys. Alright, so we're going to start using silicone mold, just like the ones that we use for chocolate making. We're going to be pouring a mixture of resin, marble, and other chemicals. Fill this table, and then we're going to bring the light bulbs down to create heat, kind of like a mini oven for the resin to become solid. Once they're ready, the only thing you have to do, just like a chocolate, take a piece out, and it's a little piñita. We're going to manually paint each one of them with acrylic paint, just like my coworker Rosa is doing today. And once the acrylic is done, it's dry, we're going to send it to the back where we're going to sand away all the surface, and that's how we're going to end up with like a piña just harvest. It's a more efficient process than using a brush and doing stroke by stroke. Once you have your piñas, you see the little circles on this table? We're going to place our piñas on each little circle and use lacquer to give it a finish. Let it dry out, and then we send it to the second room for the corks to get placed at the bottom. Pretty straightforward for questions. Yeah? Yes. It's hot. With glue. So if you guys want, we can look around so you can check out how they're standing, and I'll meet you on the second room.
Huh? Oh yeah.
pork. These are natural porks that come from Portugal, Italy. We use a liquid glue that takes around 1 hour to dry out. So, because it's a liquid glue, sometimes the pork tends to slide, and what we have to do is to recenter them to try to save as many as possible. Once the glue has dried out, we're going to grab them and check out for quality. A little more, right? We need to make sure that the pork is within the base of the agave, the circle, not a millimeter outside. If that happens, reject. Here we see a gap between the cork and the piña. You see a little gap in here? It's going to be a reject because whenever you have to pull it out from the bottle, it can snap and then your cork is going to get stuck. If it does pass quality check, I don't know if you guys can see this little bit of residual coming out, that squeezes out. Well, this is what my other coworker is doing. She's cleaning the residue away, so whenever you get our bottles, you don't see this little bit of glue coming out. She's going to do that to every topper that you see here.
Good God.
So she has done this desde la mañana. ¿Qué hora? So she started this at 6 a.m. and this is how far she has gotten. Wow. She still has this one to go, and eventually they will have to go also this ones that are freshly grown. Now, the ones that were rejects, we have to put them on a basket. Someone is going to come in, another coworker, snap the cork. We do not reuse the cork because sometimes we cut it smaller than we actually need, but we can reuse the piñas. We just make sure we clear it, and then we can put a new cork, send it back in the process. At this point, you're able to see how dedicated we are into this brand, how much work we put into each bottle. So make sure every time you buy a Fortaleza or Los Abuelos, you're going to sip it. We don't shoot this tequila, okay? You need to enjoy it. Also, don't throw away the toppers. You already got to see what's the process of making them. We can reuse them. We can make them into keychains, Christmas ornaments, doorknobs. So make sure you get creative with them because we know every time someone throws it, it's like, damn, where's someone here going down my
Put the Christmas lights inside the bottle and put it down.
Yeah.
Take the label off. They're cute.
I have a coworker who makes them into keychains, and then what I'm making this year are little Christmas ornaments. You use the pipe cleaners, the shiny ones, all around. Pipe glue, but with one big color, little dots all over the place. A little string, and you can put it on your tree. So I'm trying, I'll see if I make it, trying to make a Fortaleza Christmas tree for this year. If it works out.
That's a lot of drinking.
Sipping.
Sipping. You are correct. You have corrected. And that's my channel. Sip, savor, and celebrate. So I better be sticking to what I say.
We sip. We don't drink. We sip. All right, guys. If you're ready, we're going to start heading downstairs so we can go for. So you see those little roll of becas at the very top? They look kind of greenish compared to the rest of the agave. That's the good part. That's the cebolla. That's the part that we remove every time.
Can I pick one up?
Go ahead.
Yeah, you did. I like that.
Yeah.
The luxury tax for a pair of leather boots.
Huh?
In New York City.
Elevator?
Yeah.
Mine? No. Alright guys, so these are natural caves that were found when they purchased the property in the 50s, but there was no use to them until Mr. Guillermo comes with this idea of Los Abuelos. He wanted to use this place as a cava for aging tequila, just like it says on the outside. But in rain season, all the water filters down and you have literally droplets coming here, so it's too much humidity for this place, for the barrels. So they decided to cancel this project. What else can we make with the cave? A man cave. So here we have the bar, and here's where the tasting will happen. The floor is even. We're just going to follow the candle path that is on the floor until we see the bar. Okay, guys? Welcome. Also, natural caves means bats.
Bats.
¿Cómo se dice that?
For Louisiana, okay.
I'm from Fort Worth, Texas.
Oh, shit. Down the way.
Yeah. I've been to Shreveport a couple of times. Yeah. Hit the casinos up.
Oh, yeah, losing money on the river.
Yeah.
Misplacing my money on the river. That's what I call it. Yeah, it's a good place to grow up in. Yeah, but
And you like New York?
I love it. Been there 12 years.
So
Yeah, just
feel
up
free
there
to
from
take a seat.
money
You can
and
use the
everything.
tables. You can
Now,
sit by the bar. Up to you
good,
guys.
yeah.
I'm going to get glasses ready.
Oh, there's
Came up
Sandy.
strictly
Is
looking
that
for
right?
making money.
Oh.
You have kids up there too?
No.
No. I was about to say, that'd be a big
Thank
change.
God, yeah. $90,000 a year.
Everyone can drink, right? No one's driving.
Nobody can drive.
He's not going to have a drink, he said.
Okay. Anyone else not having a drink? Yeah, everyone's having, right?